Good morning guys, and welcome back to another episode of Barham Engines. So it's 8 o'clock in the morning, it's 15 degrees. We're heading down to work and we've got all four boys in today. Exciting stuff. We've got all the bits now for the pre-Crossflow race engine for Malcolm Shaw. So we're going to get that well on its way today. The only thing we're going to be short of is the push rods. Now on the pre-Crossflow, it's a slightly shorter push rod and they're very hard to get hold of. So what we might have to do is modify some Crossflow push rods. So that's the only thing that's going to be sort of holding us back. That's Paul busy today. Isaac, with a little bit of luck, we get the missing cam bearings for the Series 1 Land Rover, so he can crack on with that. In between things, with a little bit of luck, we might be able to get the S50 for our E30 stripped and see what's in there. But before that, we have still got to get that Ford 5-cylinder Volvo lump stripped and see what disasters we got in the bottom end. So let's get down to the workshop, guys, and see what we got going on. Right, everyone, got an interesting one here. We've got a Cosworth cylinder head. This is an Escort Cosworth head, so it's a four-wheel drive, and as you can see, it is in for a head gasket blow. And the reason for that, particularly on this one, number three, you can see there's some serious extensive detonation where it burns away at the head here, and obviously going into the gasket line and just blowing the gasket there. So what we're going to do is, I've solder blasted it. We've got to carve all this out and weld it all up and start again. We can see here by these little lines at the back here, it's had some welding before, so I suspect that at one point it's corroded around the water jackets and someone's had to dig that out and do it. That's why they look so nice. But there is also some cracks down here that run into the plug hole, also run from seat to seat down here. Now obviously to repair those, you're going to have to remove all the inserts, replace them at about £35 a go to replace them, and probably about 10 or 15 quid for the insert. So you're looking at probably 600-700 quid to repair that, plus going through the head and all the welding. It's probably getting on 1,200-1,500 quid to repair this head properly, if you have to start taking all the inserts out and welding all that up. We have pressure tested it. Now this is a pretty common thing when these heads have got hot in the past. This thing's had about 1 millimetre off it. These cracks, believe it or not, they don't give any issues, no water issues, there's no waterway around there, and they aren't very deep at all. Because of the angle of these seats, it doesn't run down into the port. It is literally just probably 1 mil or so down. So I've given the customer the option, but I said it's up to you. But if they haven't been given any issues, and he said that they've been like that for quite some time, so because this engine was rebuilt at some point, so we're not going to touch those at the moment. We're just going to sort that out. Obviously we're going to have to face the head once we've done the welding. We'll let him know the head thickness so he can then go and order a head gasket to suit. But yeah, quite bad detonation there. Still got a cough.
So, how are you feeling, mate? You alright? You feeling better?
No.
Or?
Well, I think it's hay fever, Paul.
Hay fever.
I'm not going to go on about my ailments. I'm just going to crack on.
Make some change. So what are we doing here, mate?
Well, you are cracking on kindly with the pre-Crossflow.
Yes.
And what we're doing now is we're just going to time up the vernier setup for the camshaft.
Yeah.
So we've gone onto the Newman website here, because obviously it's a Newman cam and it's a PH5, which is a big boy. So, Ford.
So let's get a nice close up on this, shall we?
So what we're going to do is just have a little look and see where we time it up. So, we've got up here, look, Kent Crossflow, non-Crossflow. So, we have got a PH5 cam, you can see there, look. Yep, where it says. And that is the power band, 5 to 9 grand. Sounds good, Paul.
Sounds very peaky.
So the bit that we want to be looking for is where it times up. So after TDC on the inlet is 110 degrees. So that is 110 is the center of the dwell. So that's full lift on the camshaft. So that's where we're going to go.
That's our magic number.
That's our magic number, mate. 110. For people that obviously haven't seen me do this before, we've got our special tool here which goes in the plug hole, and it even works on an angle like this. All it's doing is it's got a prong in there that just touches on the top of the piston. Okay. So what we're doing, we want to find the centre of the dwell of the crankshaft. Okay. So what we do is we turn it through, and you can see when the needle will stop, and there's a bit of a there's a few degrees of keep turning the crank when the needle don't move, and that's the dwell there. So you want to find the centre of that. So we're coming back. So what we do now is we go back again, and just before the centre of the dwell you want to set a marker up there. Okay, so we'll go to 0. Okay. So the centre of the dwell is around about here. So what we do is we set the 0 there, and then down here on the timing disc, we set the pointer at top. Okay. Then what we do is we want to turn the crankshaft round now, so the pointer goes through the dwell and then back round to the 0. Okay. So there we go, dead on the 0. And then we look here, you see that's 10 degrees moved. So we want to move that marker half that, and that is the centre of the dwell. So you know when we turn this crank back and put the TDC, the top, in line with that marker, that is right in the centre of the dwell of the crank. Okay? Yeah. Bit of fettling with the... There we go. Alright. So now we know if we move that back, so that needle sort of stops. And you can see that's on the top now. Alright, yeah mate. So what we do is we take our tool out, unwind it. And we're going to be putting a prong down there onto the top of the lifter, and we're going to be going around 110 degrees to the centre of the dwell on the cam, on the inlet. So guys, it's been one of them days. Unfortunately, although we found perfect TDC on the crank, we're still yet to set the timing on this. So unfortunately, sorry to skip halfway through doing a job, but Monday we'll be finishing that job, and then we can basically get that one all complete. So Paul, unfortunately, is off till next Thursday now. He's got to do his own thing. Obviously, we've got Monday off. I've been cracking on. We've got the 207 here, pretty much finished and ready for the customer. All they wanted us to do was put the pistons, rods, crank in the block and torque the head down. And that is exactly what we've done there. So they're going to do the rest of that. That is for a garage that we deal with, Loverings. But yeah, the reason why I've sort of jumped in halfway through the video, guys, is a bit of a weird one, really. And I don't know why I'm laughing, but all week and half of last week, didn't notice so much the first 2 or 3 days because the phone has been ringing and ringing. We've had so many phone calls. Obviously, Wednesday I was on my own anyway, and the phone just didn't stop. In the end, if anyone's tried ringing Wednesday, I'm really sorry, but I had to just take it off the up for an hour or two because I just could not get anything done. But we've been having some weird phone calls. So it started out where the phone would ring. We thought there was something wrong with the phone, but nothing. There was just nothing there. Although it wasn't like a dead line, you could sort of hear stuff in the background, and then it would just go. Then I started to listen a bit more carefully. You could hear breathing in the phone, and then it would hang up. Now this was happening about 3 or 4 times a day. The last couple of times, we've had the same thing for about 2 or 3 seconds, nothing, and then a male voice said to us quietly, trying to sort of put on obviously a different voice to what his is, "Look out." Now this has happened 3 times in the last 3 days. We're still getting the deep breathing. We've tried to call back or trace the number, unknown caller. So yeah, it's only, as I say, the last 2 or 3 days that this has happened. and I'm not quite sure what to do. I think I am going to report it, because obviously if something does happen, whatever that may be, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, it's not someone I've upset or someone that's, I don't know, whether it's a dodgy subscriber. You know, we get these trollers on the comments, etc., which are fairly negative. From the word go of doing the channel, we've had probably half a dozen to a dozen trollers that sort of obviously watch quite a lot of our videos, but all they do is comment badly. So they've got some sort of issue. I don't know whether they do it with every channel. I'm pretty sure every channel should suffer with it. But yeah, we seem to get these same guys popping up. I have blocked most of them. So whether I've blocked one and this is a sort of next step, but not sure what I've done to someone or what we have done, or whether it is just a YouTube thing, don't know. But like I say, I think I am going to report it just in case something does happen. And then we're sort of, at least we've reported it. But yeah, let me know in the comments, guys, what you think about that, the heavy breathing, and then the dodgy mail saying look out. So if it's someone that is watching, please stop it. It's very irritating. It's irritating enough, the phone ringing and no one answering, but when someone's saying things like that and heavy breathing down it, we really don't need it. So yeah, let me know what you think, guys. Bit weird. Over here, guys, on the mill, I've got two more TD5 Land Rover exhaust manifolds which I'm facing. So just to recap for you guys that haven't watched any previous videos where I'm doing these manifolds, what we do, obviously clamp the turbo end in the vise there as good as we can, and then we just put two jacks either side and basically centre it up as best we can with a height gauge from this end. There's no point clocking these because they bend like a banana. So what we do is we put the height gauge from here to here and make sure that way is as level as you can get it. And then the height from there to there, the same. So height gauge as best you can, and you usually find sometimes, as I said to you before with these, they can be about 2 mil lower in the middle because they like a banana. So you can see whoever owns this one has carved out the webs in between because the webs can make it warp, so they take that out, and then once, in theory, once you face them again, you don't have that trouble. So you can see this one here is not too bad at all. This is the second cut on this edge. You're finding probably it's about 10th thou bent, so not too bad at all, but it's blowing on this end. It normally find on one of the ends it sort of drops down enough to either pull or break a stud that's holding it onto the cylinder head. So yeah, this one's nearly done, guys, and then this can go back to the customer. Well, thanks ever so much for watching another video, guys. Have a great bank holiday weekend, and until Monday or Tuesday, depending on how I feel, you have a great weekend. Take care, guys.